Alright, so welcome to the third video on the Model D patch series. This is how it's going to go. First, I will show you the final result so you can copy the settings if you like it, and then we will build the patch from the ground up. Everything is timelined, so you can listen to the final patch, keep watching or move on to the next one. So we will always start from a default patch like the one we have right here. You already listened to the first patch, so let's break it down. Okay, so let's just break it down. First of all, we are going to do some kind of modulation. We are going to be using this section and we are going to be doing some patching right here. But first, we kind of need to handle what we have right here. We're going to use the overload because we want to crank it up. So first, we have this sound. This is the default patch. We always start from the same place. Maybe you already know at this point. This is the third video I make about this. I'm going to stand on the square. So I want that. I'm going to keep it on the 16s. So that's cool for now. I'm going to use some modulation. So I'm going to turn this one on. And this one needs to be all the way down. So the trick is that we are going to use the third oscillator to do some modulation right here. Especially to the, right here to the, to the pitch of the oscillators. So I'm going to be using the 1 and I'm also going to be using the 2. I'm going to go all the way the volume up and I'm just going to use the square just like the other one, but this one is going to be in a different range. I'm going to put it on 4. Now if I play both, it sounds like that. So, we're still missing some parts. We need to handle all this section. So I'm going to do some overload. I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to go up and I'm going to put it around right there when we start clipping. And notice that there is a difference. I want to get it to just a clip when we play a note. So the filter mode is going to be low modulation. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to use the pitch modulation. And in terms of the keyboard control, I'm just going to leave it off. This one is going to be off, and I do want some decay on the loudness contour. So I'm going to go all the way down on the attack, all the way down on the decay, and all the way down on the up on the sustain. Now maybe later, and I'm keeping this one on because maybe we can just make it larger, just like this. Same thing if we do it with the, with the decay of the filter. Now, right now, we are not doing anything. So I'm going to go all the way down on the cutoff and just do maybe a little bit of resonance around 3 or something like that. And we need to do some movement right here with the amount of contour. I'm going to put it at around, 8. I'm going to put it in 8. And the attack all the way down and the sustain all the way up. So now, of course, if I play this, it's going to sound weird because we are just going very fast up with this one. It's not really moving. The decay is just way down. So maybe I'm going to put it around 600. I believe that's going to be, that's fine. Maybe if I go up, it's just going to be a little bit more. Right, so I believe that's fine. Now, of course, the sustain is all the way up. That's why we get, something large when we play it. In this case, I'm just gonna maybe put it around, between 600 and 200. Now, if you think about it, it sounds cool, but, we still want to do something else. So I'm gonna grab a cable and I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna crush it even more, but also I want to modulate the cutoff. So I'm gonna go to the cutoff. I'm gonna bring right here a square LFO. And what we want to do, we want to modulate this up and down. Now the LFO rate, since we are connecting this to this, we need to kind of go up on this one. Notice that now it's happening. So I'm going to leave it around 6. Right, so that's fine for me. Now, this one, of course, is modulating this. We don't need to turn it on because we are just kind of doing it manually right here. And this one controls how fast it goes. And it's going to be a square, of course. Now, what I want to do, since we are using the oscillator modulation, we want to use this oscillator to modulate the pitch. So I'm going to go 2 lows because I want to use the LFO rate of this one. Now, if you turn it on, it's going to be controlled by the keyboard, which I don't want that. I just want to control it with whatever rate we do right here. Now, the thing is that when we use this, now since this one controls the rate of this, it's also going to be not controlling this, but this one will control this. Now we need to be all the way to the oscillator number 3, and we need to be on noise if you wanted it, or maybe LFO if you want to change it later, but we need to make sure that we are on the oscillator number 3. Now the depth is what it's going to allow this do something right here. There you go, we get it. Right, so that's what I want. Now the trick is that what I want to do, I want to go all the way down, maybe to 2, something like that. And when I play a key, it's going to be just like that. And as soon as I go up, we are going to be getting it. Now, what I also want to do, and for now I'm just going to leave it right there, I want to crush the, the external volume a lot more. So I'm going to be grabbing this cable, and let me just, prepare this. And I'm going to go out from the main, which is going to be, pretty much the main, the main out. And we are going to go to the external. So we are going to really crush it. And I mean really crush it. Okay, so now we are just going to the external, right? Right here. So when we do crush it, it's going to crush it. And then it's going to super crush it. Now this is maybe a bit too much. I want to go back, and as you go back, you're going to be getting a bit more of what you're doing, but you're still, overloading very quickly. And if you go down, you can hear more of the oscillators, and right here, you're just really crashing it. Now, right here, it's pretty much always this, everything is just the same. With this one, we get just maybe a little bit different, something else, just a different tone. Now, the plan is that we can go up with the mod depth and get some modulation as we go up. And also go up on the amount of contour. Now if I go up on this one, right, so that's what we want. So that sound, notice how much this is doing. It's completely kind of destroying the sound at some point. And you're gonna need to manage. If you're gonna do less, it's gonna do less. If you do more, it's gonna give you this, super crushed sound. Alright, so of course right now it sounds cool, but it's gonna sound a lot better if we bring some reverb, because it's too dry. So I'm gonna bring a reverb, and it's gonna be a hall reverb. I'm gonna just turn it on. Now it's much better. Now remember, and for now I'm just gonna, let me just go to the DAW, and I'm gonna be playing the clip, so, I can use my hands freely. So again, we have this. If you go up, we're gonna get much more. If we use less, we can hear the upper frequencies. If I crush it, everything is gonna go super low. So we have, we have different kind of phases right here. And this one again, for now I'm going to leave it all the way up. We're going to play just with this, both two controls. I'm going super fast, so you can go slower if you want. There you go. That's, that's gonna be the patch. If you turn it off, and I'm gonna just turn off the, the playback, that's gonna be the patch, right? So I didn't say anything, but the reverb I'm using is just pretty simple reverb. If I go all the way up, just gonna be like that. I'm cutting a lot of high frequencies. If I bring all the high frequencies, we're gonna hear a lot more, which is not what I want. Just gonna keep it low. And the decay is a pretty long decay, kind of a, like 50%, something like that. All right. So that's it. That's the patch pretty much. All right, so let's just break it down. Now, the plan on this one is to use the first and the second one, and the third one we use it as a kind of a fundamental tone, like bagpipes, something like that. So if you're playing on an F, we're gonna tune it down to an F and disconnect the keyboard from this one, so we can just listen to that fundamental tone. So that's the plan, at least. Okay, so we are gonna go right here. We are using, of course, you know the drill, a default patch. I'm gonna go right here to the fourth. That's gonna be my sound. I'm gonna put a triangle, a square, sorry. And I'm gonna go down in volume, maybe half, something like that. I'm gonna go to this one. I'm gonna turn it on, and maybe again, somewhere around there. I'm gonna turn this into a square, and this one, I'm gonna keep it on 16s. Why not? And this one, again, I'm gonna be turning this on, but I don't want to play the same frequencies. I'm playing with the keyboard. I'm gonna disconnect it from the keyboard. Now the thing is that when you do that, this will not follow the keyboard. If I turn this off and I play different keys, and I'm playing different keys, it's always the same thing. Now, what I want to do right now, I want to tune it to something else. So let's say I play something on the key of C. I'm gonna need to turn this or tune it to whatever fundamental you want to use. If you want to use a C, use a C, maybe an E, a G, or it depends on what you want to do. In this case, I'm gonna do C. So I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna adjust this to hit the C. Almost there. There we go. Right, so there you go. Let's see. So now if we play everything together, right, so we are going to get this sound. We get the fundamental tone and the other ones will follow the keyboard. So we get a lot of things going on. It sounds very powerful. Now, of course, we need to handle this because right now it's kind of super crazy. So I'm going to go there, going to leave it off. This one, we're going to do some modulation at some point. I'm going to turn this one off, this one off. This one is going to be on and this one is going to be on. We are going to use the decay because we want to make something, like a pad. We want to make a slow attack and something like that. So I'm going to bring the attack all the way up to, I don't know, 5 or 5-ish. Same thing with the attack on the envelope, right there on the filter envelope. The decay, I'm gonna make it a long decay. So at some point, we're gonna need to turn this one off and on just to cut the sound. And the sustain is gonna be all the way down to 8, up to 8. Same thing with the decay. Gonna go up on the decay, all around, maybe 5, something like that. And the sustain is going to be around there, 6 or 7. I'm gonna put it in 7. Or maybe, closer to 6. Now, of course, we need to do some movement right now if I play it. It's gonna be weird. And it's super bright. If you want to kill it, you just turn that off. I'm gonna go all the way down and we're gonna start, moving from down here. I want to do a little bit of resonance, not too much. And in this case, I want to do some amount of contour. So I think I'm gonna put it right there in between and see how it sounds. This one off. Notice it sounds very different. Right, so we want to do something like this, but we want to control it a little bit more. Now, right now the mod depth should be all the way down. I made a mistake. This one should be all the way down. So when I turn this one on, we have no modulation. So on this one, I do want to do some modulation with this, and I'm gonna go all the way to the LFO, not the oscillator 3, all the way to the LFO. So now I'm gonna go up in rate, and now the mod is gonna give us the sound. Now we're standing on noise, so what if we want to use noise? And I'm gonna go up and maybe leave it right there and turn it off, turn it on leave it on pink. If we do noise, we are on all the way into noise. We are modulating by noise. Notice that the noises right now is just very noticeable when we filter, we modulate with this. And yeah, there is a light failing on me. You know, I knew this day would come. And then I'm gonna go to the LFO. If we do it with the LFO, it's gonna be a little bit different, because we are controlling it with something, you know, a little bit more controllable than just, you know, noise. So the plan is that, in my case, you know what the way I thought this patch is that when we play, we go up on the modulation until we play the next key. And you can go as much as you wish with the mod depth. So that's the plan. If we turn this one off, the sound doesn't change much, but we are losing that fundamental low tone, right? If I turn it on, we get it. And we are not using effects. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on, and we are gonna do the effects. Right, so what do I want to do with the effects? So I want to do something simple. I want to make it wider. I want to add a little bit of depth, and I want the sound to move all over the place. So the first thing I'm gonna bring is going to be a ping pong delay. That's the first thing I'm gonna bring. So if I play something right now, notice that we get a spread, you know, it's a wide spread. And this is the ping pong delay. Now, since this sound, it's super smooth, we don't feel like there's, you know, something bouncing from left to right, but we feel that there's some kind of a movement on the sides. Now, the amount of time, it's 1/4, or we can go slower. The BPM, I'm using 120 right now, so it's 1/4 and 120 BPM. So yeah, the trick is that, again, we are just moving slowly to the sides. So this is just going to make the sound, bigger. Now, if you want to make it even more, why not using a chorus? So I'm going to bring a chorus and see how it sounds. And we're going to get more, especially when we do the modulation. You can hear it, right? That's the chorus and the delay, giving us the, the sides. And hopefully you're listening this from, with some headphones or maybe good speakers. If not, you're not going to be able to appreciate the sound. And we can go maybe up and then going down. Right, so let's go to the other one. I'm gonna bring a little bit of kind of a reverb. I feel like we don't need a lot. I'm gonna go down on the mix. It's gonna be like 30%, and it's a hall reverb. Again, the sound is pretty wide already, so the reverb, maybe it's not necessary. Right, so that's the sound, If you want to kill it, it dies. All right, so let's just break it down. We didn't do a lot of sound effects, so that's why I'm just kind of, doing this. So what we need to do, it's kind of a pretty simple. We just need to use the resonance and modulate the resonance. That's pretty much all. So, okay, so first, we are not going to use any of the oscillators. Everything is going to be off. Of course, we are always starting from a default patch. Now I'm going to turn this off. This one is going to be off, but we are going to be using this at some point. So I'm going to disconnect it from the keyboard because I want to use it as an oscillator. Now I'm going to go all the way down on the lows, and I'm going to keep it, on the ramp up for now. Now the trick is that we want to modulate this, with the filter. So we are going to be turning this on. And this ones, we don't need it because we are not going to do amount of contour. So I'm going to leave them off for now. And this one are going to be off as well. Now we need some decay because we need some kind of a sound. And the sustain is going to be all the way up. This one down, down, down. And this one all the way down. And this one around, I don't know, 600 seems like a good, like a good value. We are getting something, but we don't get anything because there's no sound, even though we are all the way up on the cutoff frequency. So I'm going to go to 50%. And the trick now is that we need to go all the way up on the resonance, and we are going to be getting the sine wave. Right? That's the trick. So the thing is that when we play a key, will always give us that tone, that sine, but we are going to be going down with the cutoff frequencies, up or down. And this is, the famous, R2D2 kind of sound, pretty simple. Now, the thing is that we want to modulate this with something. And we could modulate with the LFO, we could modulate with the oscillator 3, or we could do it with the noise 1. So in this case, I'm just going to do it with noise. I'm going to go all the way to noise. I'm going to keep this on noise for now. And now this is going to be modulating this. So if I do a rate, we are not going to do anything, but when I go up on the depth, we're going to start hearing that, and that sounds like the Call of Duty. Now the trick is that when I play something, I need to be all the way down, and we are going to be going up because this is a kind of a sound effect. So let's say a riser or something like that. And then we go down. So that's it. That's the trick, pretty simple. Now, the thing is that we could also go all this way, and we are using the oscillator number 3, and we are using this one. So if I go fast with this one, we are doing a low. We are disconnecting from the keyboard, so we can control it with this one. Now, what you can do, instead of just doing this or the other one, we can do a blend of both. And as soon as we go up, we just can go up like that one. Now, let me just do some playing. All right, so I'm going to play the clip. So remember, we want this, or either this. But I want both. Or maybe just a little bit more of this and a little bit less of the other one. We can do that. But we can go... Oh, sorry for that. We can do something like that, go down, we'll start down. And do a little bit of the oscillator number 3, and then, the noise. Now you can choose right here what you want to do, or you can go slower. Right, so you can do something like that. Now, it's just completely up to you, but you're going to need to synchronize whatever it is that you do with the oscillator number 3. Now you can go to oscillator rates, and we could do the same thing with oscillator rates. So and something like that. Now, of course, the trick of doing all of this, let me just stop it, is to do it with the emphasis, with the resonance. Now, if you do nothing on the mod depth, you're just going to be getting your sine wave. Just a different sound. A different cool sound. Right, so of course, this sounds very dry. I'm going to be doing some effects. Now, right here, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to do a ping pong delay just to make it move from left to right. And for now, I'm just going to go and do the noise one, just the noise. So I'm going to go and maybe go right there. And I'm going to turn on the ping pong delay. And we can already hear it on the sides. Right? It's just a ping pong delay. So it's super wide now. If we want to make it wider and a little bit darker, I'm going to bring a chorus. Right? So just using a stereo, a delay, a ping pong, and a stereo chorus is just going to give you that, big sound. And if you want a little bit of delay, of reverb, you can. I'm just not doing much, just a little bit. Up. And then down. That's the trick. So what if we do the other one, If I go all the way to this one, it's going to sound very different, especially now if I go to lows. Right, so you can choose what you want to do, or just, it's like 3 different types of effects or sound effects on the same patch. Okay, so let's break it down. The drill, always starting from a default patch. So what we want to do, we are going to be doing pretty much everything from the patching. And we want to use the LFO to modulate the filter, but at the same time, we want the ADS, the contour, to modulate the speed of the LFO. That's what we want. So first, let's try to get some useful sound right here. So I'm going to play right there. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to 32s. I'm going to go leave it on saw. I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to put it on 8. And I'm going to turn it on and go all the way in, volume all the way in. And still, I'm using the saw. So we get that. Now the glide is all the way down. I'm going to put the glide on 8. You can choose right here. This is, my preference. You can leave it off if you wish. And this is the sound we get. Now, I'm going to be going to this one, and it's going to sound a little bit annoying because this one is going to be all the way to the 2. I'm going to turn it on, go all the way up, and go again to the saw. Now, and that, if I bring a reverb, and I'm going to bring it right now, why not? Because this sounds a little bit, too dry without the reverb. I'm going to bring a reverb, and I'm not cutting a lot of the highs. So in this case, we are going to be getting a lot of highs from the reverb, a lot of reflections. And this is, my preference in this case. No, it sounds super cool already, but again, this is not the patch, but it could be a patch. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab the cable and I'm going to be going to modulate the cut of CV. So it's going to be this one. I'm going to patch it in right here. And I want to modulate it with the LFO triangle. So that's what we want to do. So, of course, we need to adjust the envelopes and I need to adjust the cable. We need to adjust the envelopes because right now we are not doing anything pretty much. All of this is going to be down, 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 down. I'm going to leave this one on in this case. You're not going to use it much either way. And this one on and this one on for now. So I'm going to go all the way down to the cut of frequencies. I'm going to do a little bit of a resonance like 2. And then we're going to go right there almost to 6 or maybe 7. 7? Yeah, I guess 7 is fine. Attack, I'm going to do something like 200. And this is very important because it's going to modulate the speed. Right now, it's not doing anything, but it will in a minute. And this one sustain all the way up, this one around 200. And then we're going to change it and, see how it works. This one is going to be around the 300-ish, maybe a little bit less. Not 300, it's going to be 400, I guess. So, a little bit down. And then this one, it's going to be around 600-ish, something like that. And then all the way up on the sustain. So this is going to sound like this. Again, already sounds cool. Right. Okay, so now what we need to do some modulation. So right now we are not doing anything because even though we are connecting this, it's modulating it, but there's nothing going on. The LFO rate is all the way down. That's kind of the problem. So when I go up on the LFO rate, it's doing demodulation. Now it's a little bit kind of too much. Let me just bring the volume down. All right, so let me just bring the spectrum. So we can see how it's modulating it. And if I go faster, it's going to do that. But this is not what I want to do. I want to modulate this, with the patch, patch ins and outs. And we can, that the LFO CV, this one is going to be this one. So we want to modulate with something. In this case, we are going to be using the filter cont or contour, which is going to be the envelopes. So whatever we do right here is going to modulate this up and down when we play a key or when we trigger this one. So the trick is that we need to go to this one, and let me just adjust the cables. There you go. So right there, there we go. So now this one will modulate the speed of this one. And it's going to sound like... It's going to sound like that. Of course, you can go slower. And it's going to go slower, or you can go faster. And the envelope will just, handle the sound. Now, of course, you can just change the controls right here. Right? So this is super important for us. In this case, I'm gonna go and leave it where it was, which is all the way up and around 200-ish, something like that. I'm gonna make it a little bit faster. So that's it. That's pretty much the whole patch. So it sounds a little bit too dynamic. I wouldn't say maybe dynamic, but it's lacking something. So in this case, I'm gonna bring the main and I'm gonna saturate this as hell. So I'm gonna turn it on. And notice that we get a lot of... Now, of course, if you like the other one, you might, you could use that one. In this case, I like the saturation. And you can play with the LFO rates. Now remember that messing with this and messing with the envelope will just, alter how it sounds. Alright, so let's just break it down. I want to do a bass, but I want to do a mod bass, a modulated bass. Okay, so let's, just first bring the bass and then bring the modulation. So we always, of course, start from a default patch that already sounds like a bass. I'm gonna turn this one on, go all the way in, and I'm gonna keep it a saw, and I'm gonna go to 8. I'm gonna turn the second one on, I'm gonna go all the way in, keep it saw, and I'm gonna go to 16. So we are already to 16, so we get, we get a kind of a bass sound. I'm gonna go all the way in on the third one, and on this one, I'm gonna do an inverted saw. And I'm gonna keep it on 16 so we can play with this too. So, it sounds like that. We can do, much better. We can do a little bit of noise, maybe a pink noise. Gonna maybe put it right there. And now we need to, of course, adjust all the envelopes. This is where the magic needs to happen. So I'm going to keep it on low. I'm going to keep this one on because we are going to be doing some modulation. But maybe we're going to do it later. For now, I'm just going to leave it off. I'm going to turn it on, this one off. This one is going to be on, and this one is going to be off. So it sounds pretty much the same. Now all the magic needs to happen right here. I'm gonna adjust the cutoff almost to 3, pretty much there. No resonance, and the amount of contour, I'm gonna put it to 8. And now we need to adjust this. If not, nothing is gonna happen. So I'm gonna go to decay around there, and the sustain a little bit down. So what I want to do, or what I want to get right here, is that when we play a key, let me just put it right there. When we play a key, I want the bow and go down. Right? So that's what I want. Now, I'm going to adjust the decay because I want a long decay and less sustain on the envelope, on the amp. Now, we want to glide, maybe I'm going to remove it. So that's what I want. When I play a key, I want to go up and then go down. But at the same time, I want some modulation because right now it's just pretty dull. So we could do the same trick we did before. We can go and use the LFO, the square LFO. I almost dropped my coffee. So I'm going to go to the cut CB. So we are going to be modulating this with the LFO of the square. But remember that this one needs some kind of a, rate. And I'm going to be doing that. So it's going to be kind of that on and off kind of a vibe. But when we play a key, it's going to go up, and it's going to just go down. So yeah, that's what I want. I want that. That's the vibe I want. Right. Of course, we can make it shorter, or we can make it, it's going to be a lot shorter. In this case, the decay, I kind of like it right there. Now what I want to do, I want to modulate it with the triangle as well. We can do this. Now I'm going to turn this one on, and this one is going to be using the same speed, this triangle. I'm going to go all the way to the LFO, and we need to be on LFO, and right here the depth will do a triangle as well. So we are doing a combination of the pulse that we have right here and the triangle. Now this is completely up to you. If you don't like it, you just can, just remove it. In the case, I just, kind of like it. I'm going to put it on 8, the depth. Right. Now it sounds again a little bit dull, so maybe we could bring another patch and just saturate this a little bit more. So I'm gonna go to the main, and as you can see, doing this is pretty common with this, and the Moog, even the Poly D. Just using that cable just to connect it and saturate it, turn it on, and even just doing that, it's gonna give me that saturation I want. Right, so it sounds cool, but of course we need some effects. In this case, I'm going to bring something that makes it kind of a wide. So that's, kind of what I want. So I'm going to bring a chorus. Let me just bring the effects. So I'm going to bring a chorus. This is just going to make it wider. Now, it's not super aggressive. The mix is almost like 30 or 40%, something like that. So it's not super aggressive. But we can hear that it's wide. And what it's missing right now, it's a little bit of, room. So I'm going to bring a reverb, and it's going to be a hall. And I'm going to keep it, when you work with basses, with the bass, you almost don't want a lot of reverb. In this case, it's a bass, but it's a modulated bass, so I'm kind of using it as a sound effects, or maybe even a drone or some other things. So maybe bringing a reverb and just keeping the reverb aggressive with a lot of high frequencies is going to give you that sound, which is not that bad, Now what happens, I wonder, if we saturate it more? Right, so you get that. Now, if you don't like it again, you can just go down or even turn it off. I kind of like this, maybe right there. Right, So notice that reverb is super aggressive. If I go down, it's gonna be, a little bit less. Almost 20% of the reverb, so we notice it's there, but it's not super noticeable. If I turn it off, we can notice it's missing. If I turn it on, off. Right. Now, in my case, I want a long reverb. Something that we can notice is there. And all of this are just... All of this is just, you just need to make your own decision. If you want a long reverb, if you want no reverb, if you want to make it wide just like I did, or maybe you don't. This is something that you need to choose. Okay, so let's just break it down. It's going to be very simple, but it's something I guess we didn't do before, which is modulating the whole frequency. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to do something right there. I'm going to keep it in saw, inverted saw on the last one. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to go up on the volume of the 3 oscillators. And in terms of the range, everything is going to be 16, so nothing super special right here. Right? Of course, if you want later, you just can change the different ranges and just, check for different sounds. In this case, I'm just going to keep it pretty simple. Now I'm going to go right here to the envelopes, and this is what is going to give us something else. Now, instead of keeping it in low, I'm going to do the high frequencies, right? I'm going to keep a high pass. Now, in this case, I'm going to do some modulation. Maybe we are going to do that later. And I'm going to go there, going to keep it right like there. This one is going to be off. This one is going to be on. This one is going to be on. Now, right now, we don't have a cool sound. I'm going to go all the way down, a little bit of resonance around 2. And the contour, I'm going to leave it at 6. The attack around 600. And I'm doing this quickly because all of this, at this point, we have a lot of practice. I'm going to keep the sustain all the way up. And this one, I'm going to put the decay around, 50%, which is, above 600. And the attack, a little bit of attack. So it's going to sound like that, and we have a little bit of decay, and sustain. So it sounds cool, but it doesn't sound that cool. So what I want to do modulation with the filter contour. So with this one, with this envelope. And what I want to do, I want to modulate the oscillator 1B per octave. Now the thing is that since this one is super aggressive, it's going to be really aggressive. It's going to turn the whole patch to a different thing. And if I do it, watch your ears. Maybe I'm going to go down in volume. It's going to be that sound. So of course, the envelope, it's modulating the frequency up and down. Right, so let me just put the spectrum right there. We can see how it's going up and then going down to the original tone. Now, of course, everything depends on what we do right here. If I do something super fast, it's going to be super fast. I want something slow, on the slow side. Now, we are doing some modulation. Right now, it's pretty unnoticeable. So what we can do, we can maybe go to the LFO side of things and go up on the rate, but we need to do some depth. And we don't have a lot of, we don't hear a lot of difference. Even if I do that. So if I go slow, we're gonna start getting it. Maybe around there. Now, if I go up on the rate, let me just go there. Now we can hear it. So if I do something like that, can you notice it? Yeah, and actually you can see it on the spectrum right there. Especially when I go up in rate. So if you want this, that's fine. You can leave it on. I kind of like it, so I'm going to leave it on. But the thing is that it sounds super bright. Maybe we will use an EQ just to cut it, a little bit. Maybe the amount of contour is maybe too much. Still, it's going to be super bright. All right. What happens if we bring more of this? Just different frequencies. Kind of like that. So I'm gonna keep it on 16 for now. And now what I want to do, I want to bring something that kind of is going to bring the patch down, because right now it's just super bright. So I'm gonna bring a course, which is going to make in the case of this course, the one I'm using, it's gonna make this sound a little bit darker. So I'm gonna bring it, and of course it's going to make it wider. So now it's not gonna be that annoying to hear. Just a little bit easier to hear. And if I go up on the amount of a course, I'm gonna make it 50%. We get that. Now, in order to move it backwards, to the back, I'm gonna do a little bit of hall reverb. Right, so that's the patch pretty much. Now right here you can go, and now at this point you've learned a lot of things. You can do whatever you want, you can mess with this, you can even bring something else, like for example, a modulator like this, bring it right here. You can patch it in and do something like that and get, what we are doing right here pretty much without just doing the depth. If you want to crush it, you can bring the main and bring to the external, and we can crush it. That's, that's what that's the purpose of this, all of this video. So you can learn how to create your own patches. That's that's the purpose. And all of the the libraries, sometimes you see a lot of people selling libraries, and maybe you're thinking, yeah, they're bad. I like to create my own patches. Well, they're good. They're not that bad. They give you a different perspective. Learning how to create patches and how to create sounds. In this case, this. Giving us a lot, right? Right, so that's a good sound. All right, so that's going to be the patch. Okay, so let's just break it down, and we are kind of reusing the same idea of modulating with the filter contour the oscillator frequencies. So okay, we're gonna do that. So of course we need some sounds. Right now it's the default. I'm gonna go right there to square. I'm gonna keep it on 16 and all the way up, or maybe not that much up, maybe just something like there. I'm gonna turn this one on, and I'm gonna bring this one on, and I'm gonna maybe go to I'm gonna make it a pulse. And you know what? I'm gonna make this one, the narrow pulse, not this super narrow pulse, but this one I'm gonna go higher in frequencies. Let's see what happens. All right, so the last one, I'm gonna just keep it off. I'm not gonna really use it. Right, so for now, what we want to do, we want to modulate the contour. So in this case, we are gonna be going to high. We are going to leave this one off, and this one off, and this one, this one on and on. And we want a slowish kind of attack. I'm going to go to around 5. I guess this one is going to be around 10, maybe 5-ish, or maybe around, half between 5 and 10, and sustain all the way down. The attack is going to be maybe 5, between 5 and 10, somewhere around there. So it's pretty slow. And then around 5 and 10. So we're doing pretty much the same. All the way down on this one. Now, right here on the amount of contour, I'm going to do 6. I'm going to put it right there on 6. And I'm going to do a lot of resonance. I'm going to do around 8. So right now it's going to sound like that. And it's super long. Which is fine, I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on just to kill the sound. And we want to do something right here. So what I want to do, I want to go to the CB 1 volt per octave and the filter contour. So let's see what happens. So we have something very similar we had from the other one. Yep. So I'm going to use the loudness contour to do some modulation, and I'm going to do pitch modulation. I'm I'm going to go all the way to the noise LFO. I'm going to keep this one on LFO. And of course, we need some rate and we need some depth. Notice it's changing now. So yeah, it is kind of weird, but that's fine. That's what we want in this case. So it's going like this. Let me bring the spectrum. Right, so now I play something. It goes up, and then the LFO is doing something like this. Now the thing is that it's fine, but I would love to do something like... do something like that. But you could do it manually, you know, play a key, I'm gonna kill it, start over, play a key, go up, and then go down slowly. That sounds like the Pac-Man. So yeah, I want to do something like that, but the thing is that doing it manually sometimes, you know, it's good, but why, you know, we can go to use the contour, we can use this one, and use this one to modulate the rate of this one. So yeah, and that's when, you know, something we can do. So I'm going to bring the cable, let me adjust the cable. Right, so there we go. So now the loudness contour is going to be modulating the LFO rate. If we go up on the LFO rate, it's going to be too fast, so we're going to start slow. I'm going to play a key now. It's going to go up fast, and then it's gonna decay because we have long times right here. If of course we make this one super short, it's gonna be much faster, which is not what we want to do. So we want something slow. Let me just kill it, start over. Maybe it's just too slow. Gonna go around there. There we go. Like it a little bit more. So this one is on, you know, between 1 and between 5, right there. And this one is gonna be, you know, around, you know, between 5 and 10. Right. So again, this is like a sound effects. Now we need to add something because it sounds super dry. I'm gonna bring maybe a delay, a ping pong delay, so we can have something on the sides. I'm gonna bring it right now. How important, right? The delay. It just gives us that, you know, tiny sugar on the other sides. So of course you need to use this, you need to hear this with headphones or good speakers. If not, if you're listening to this on your phone, it's just not going to work. I'm going to bring a chorus just to make it wider. And now we didn't do it. Of course, I'm going to kill it and start over. Oh, yeah. Notice this. Okay, so there's something weird, and it's not doing it because the mod depth, it's not listening to my mod depth because I'm using a key step. And when you have a key step, by mistake, you just bump your mod. And what's happening now is that the mod is all the way down. And this is my keyboard, which is not what I want. I'm gonna disable the keyboard. And now we are back in business. Right. So a little bit of reverb, we kind of don't need it, but it's just, just to add it. Why not? And there you go. That's your sound effects. All right, so that's it pretty much. Hopefully you like this, this series of videos. This is the number 3 or the number 4, I guess. I'm going to do one more. Now, I guess I'm going to be bringing some other synths or maybe doing some other things because right now it's just kind of doing the same thing over and over again or just, changing it a little bit. It's just using the same concepts. So maybe I'm going to bring a different synth like a Crave or maybe a Neutron, something from the same family and just, do some connections and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully you were able to get some information, some cool information about this. The main purpose is not just to give you patches. The main purpose is to create the patches so you can learn to create your own sounds. That's the plan. So if you find this, useful, like and subscribe, of course. And remember to check Patreon. Maybe you want to buy me a coffee. You can go to Patreon. Maybe you can go to PayPal, or you have now the Google Thanks button. You can do that if you wish. Everything is on the description. And see you on the next one.